To understand the 2023 Thai thriller Hunger, directed by Sitisiri Mongkolsiri, one must first abandon the romanticized notion of the kitchen as a place of love and warmth. This is not a film about the joy of cooking. It is a cinematic dissection of ambition, a brutal critique of social stratification, and a horrifying look into the gaping maw of human desire. From the opening shot to the final, lingering gaze of the protagonist, the film operates less like a drama and more like a psychological horror, replacing jump scares with the hiss of searing flesh and the cold, metallic clatter of a dropped spoon in a silent room. At its center stands Aoi, a young woman who inherits her family's humble stir-fry noodle shop in the old quarter of Bangkok. The air around her is thick with the scent of garlic, oil, and the sweat of the working class. The cinematography here is warm, chaotic, and intimate, capturing the rhythm of the street. The crybaby noodles she cooks are sustenance, a simple transaction of flavor for survival. But Aoi wants more. She possesses a talent that transcends the street corner, a raw, unrefined ability to manipulate heat and flavor that catches the eye of Tone, a junior sous chef at the country's most exclusive private chef table, known simply as Hunger. When Aoi accepts the invitation to trial for Hunger, the film shifts its visual language violently. We leave the warm, yellow hues of the street for the sterile, clinical blues and grays of Chef Paul's kitchen. Chef Paul is not merely a cook. He is a dictator, a conductor of a culinary orchestra where a single missed note results in psychological annihilation. Played with terrifying stoicism by Nopachai Chaiyanam, Paul represents the apex of the culinary world, yet he is devoid of joy. His kitchen is a laboratory of perfectionism where food is stripped of its cultural comfort and reassembled into a symbol of status. The audition scene, where Aoi must fry rice to prove her worth, is a masterclass in tension. It is not about the recipe, it is about the breath of the wok, the ability to control chaos. Aoi wins her spot not by following the rules of fine dining, but by unleashing the raw aggression of the street, a quality Paul covets even as he looks down upon her origins. As the narrative unfolds, the audience is dragged deeper into the philosophy of Chef Paul, which serves as the film's thematic spine. He believes that for the wealthy, food is not about taste or nutrition. It is about exclusivity and the performance of dominance. He cooks to feed their egos, not their stomachs. This is visually represented in the way the patrons of Hunger eat. The director utilizes grotesque close-ups of mouths tearing at meat, sauce dripping down chins, and eyes rolling back in an ecstasy that feels almost pornographic and deeply unsettling. These scenes strip the veneer of sophistication away from the elite, revealing them as gluttonous beasts consuming prestige rather than art. Paul knows this. He hates them for it, yet he serves them because he is addicted to the power he holds over them. He controls what they crave. He tells Aoi that love is a lie used by the poor to comfort themselves, while the reality of the world is a hierarchy of hunger where the strong eat the weak. Aoi's journey is a descent into this moral abyss. As she rises through the ranks, replacing her wok with tweezers and foams, she begins to lose the connection to the food that once defined her. The film brilliantly juxtaposes her transformation with the physical toll it takes. Her arms are burned, her relationships fracture, and her face hardens. The script does not shy away from the brutality of the kitchen brigade system. It portrays the toxic masculinity and the erasure of self required to serve the vision of a genius. Yet, Aoi is seduced by the validation. When she serves a dish that makes a high society crowd applaud, the rush is undeniable. It is the drug of recognition. However, the film constantly reminds us of the cost. In one particularly harrowing sequence involving a private dinner for a shady general, the team is forced to cook an illegal, endangered hornbill bird. Here, the kitchen becomes a crime scene, and the act of cooking becomes an act of complicity and corruption. The bird, masked in heavy sauces and spices, is a metaphor for the entire industry Paul leads, a beautiful lie covering a rotten, bloody truth. The turning point of the film is not just a plot beat but a philosophical rejection of the premise that more is better. Aoi eventually leaves Hunger to start her own high-end restaurant, backed by a wealthy investor. She achieves everything she thought she wanted. She becomes the star, the brand, the Chef Aoi, who commands the kitchen. But the climax reveals the hollowness of this victory. In a showdown at a lavish birthday party where both she and Chef Paul are hired to cook, the contrast becomes undeniable. Aoi cooks a dish rooted in love and memory, trying to bridge the gap between her grandmother's recipe and fine dining. Paul, conversely, orchestrates a theatrical, nihilistic spectacle involving flaming meat and a ritualistic atmosphere that turns the guests into a frenzied mob. The guests devour Paul's food with animalistic desperation, ignoring Aoi's soulful creation. It is a cynical realization for Aoi. The people she is trying to impress do not care about the soul of the food. They only care about the spectacle of the brand. Paul wins the crowd because he understands their ugliness. This realization leads to the film's quiet, powerful conclusion. Aoi realizes that the hunger chef Paul speaks of, the hunger for status, for power, for being special, is a bottomless pit that can never be filled. It is a hunger that consumes the host. In a rejection of the hero's journey that usually ends with the protagonist conquering the new world, Aoi chooses to retreat. She returns to the old quarter, to the crybaby noodles, and to the warmth of the wok fire that she controls, not for the applause of the soulless elite, but for the nourishment of real people. The final shots of the film are a reclamation of identity. By returning to her roots, she is not failing, she is waking up from a nightmare. She chooses the common life not because she can't hack it in the elite world, but because she has seen the elite world and found it starving for something she cannot provide: humanity. Ultimately, Hunger is a film that uses food to talk about everything except food. It is a critique of late-stage capitalism where everything, including a grandmother's recipe, is commodified. It attacks the class divide in Thailand, showing how the rich float above the law while the poor scrape by. The visuals are stark, the sound design is immersive, amplifying every chop and sizzle into a violent act, and the performances are understated yet intense. It challenges the viewer to ask themselves what they are truly hungry for. Is it the food on the plate, or is it the feeling of being superior to those who cannot afford it? By the time the credits roll, the audience is left with a lingering, uncomfortable aftertaste, realizing that in the world of high ambition, everyone is starving, and no amount of Michelin stars can cure the famine of the soul.